All right, we are at Language Arts. I am going to read a Christmas book. This is one of Mrs. Reed's favorites. Mrs. Reed's favorite to read. Mrs. Reed likes to read. Yes?
Is that Axel on the report?
No, that's just a dog. Axel does not look like that. He's a golden retriever, so his ears don't stick up. They are like floppy.
It's like a husky.
It's more like a German Shepherd or a Husky or something like that.
I like huskies. So Axel's sad?
Axel's what?
Sad?
No, his ears just don't go up. His ears are down. So, Mr. Willoughby's Christmas. Who has heard this book before? Super fun.
I don't think so. I don't think.
All right.
Title.
Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery, full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest Christmas tree he had ever seen. Mr. Willoughby has a very nice house. Has a very big Christmas tree.
Is that American?
He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he waited for. A magnificent tree, splendid, he cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here. Ruh-roh. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willoughby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. Oh, good heavens, he gasped. Something must go. The tree is too tall. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the tree, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willoughby cried with glee. Now we can start to trim my tree. What does it mean to trim a tree? Does it mean to give it a haircut? Owen? Nope. Because he already did that, so it fits. What does it mean to trim the tree? Helen?
Because there's straps around it, you can't cut it.
Nope. It's a very old-fashioned word for this particular, when you hear it, you're like, that's what it means? Gabe?
If the branches are too long, you trim them.
What's that?
If the branches are too long, you trim them.
Nope. Ironically, it has absolutely nothing to do with cutting it. Nothing at all to do with cutting it. It has something completely different. Helen?
To decorate?
Yes. To trim the tree means to decorate it. It's kind of silly. I know. That's why I knew you would know what that meant. It's a very strange way to say it. When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree. So he presented it to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willoughby's upstairs maid. Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid, will have to be cut, sighed Miss Adelaide. And so with the scissors, sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out the very next day in back of the house to be thrown away. The little treetop caught the eye of Tim, the gardener, passing by. He certainly was not about to see the little tree thrown out. He hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa la 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 la, surprise, surprise! His wife could not believe her eyes. But our house, she said, is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it at all. And before Tim had chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Barnaby Bear was paddling by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now, who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home. That's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've a present for you. Isn't it a pretty tree? Yawned Barnaby quite drowsily. But Little Bear, standing off far, cried out, that tree won't hold a star. Oh, look, it is tipping over. Barnaby said, let's cut a hunk off the bottom, here at the trunk. But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead.
It's just gonna get.
Boy, there keeps getting more and more little trees from this tree, isn't there?
It should be an ornament on the tree.
Jolly by golly, Barnaby said with a kick. Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel, and popcorn strings. Mama said, trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top we won't need anymore. I'll put it just outside the door. Later on, that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuck it in. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. It's even better than mincemeat pie, said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. There, my dears, don't you worry. I'll fix this top. Now in a hurry. So yet another top is being chopped off. Who's going to take that little, teeny, tiny tree? Oh, Cole, you ready? Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems, he thought, most certainly Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found. With that, he called his family round. Then there, with a merry-making, rollicking, frolicking, carrot-shaking celebration around the tree, all were as happy as rabbits can be. Yes, Cole?
I don't think the bunny would get near a fox.
Well, it didn't get near that. You were right. But he wasn't near the fox. He just grabbed the tree. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. Oh, how cute. Now, let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. Uh-oh, what's happening? Is it leaning?
Yeah.
But right away the children cried, look, it's leaning off to one side. It's too tall, that's all, said Mrs. Rabbit, and as though it were a summer carrot, she got it and chopped it and threw it out and threw away the top. Oh, there it goes. Phew. Who on earth could use that little teeny tiny tree? What kind of animal do you think?
Mouse.
Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice, up some stairs. He fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. It's just the right size, said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willoughby? So the mouses have their house in Mr. Willoughby's house. So there is the big giant tree, and there is the little teeny tiny tree that the mouses have. So how many trees came from Mr. Willoughby's tree? Did anybody keep track? So we have the big tree that went to Mrs. Adelaide, so that is 2. And then that Mrs. Adelaide cut off the top, and that went to Mr. Tim. That is 3. Somebody keep track. 3. Put your fingers up. Somebody put 3. And then Barnaby Bear. And then the fox. The rabbits. And then the mice. How many trees was that? 7 trees came from Mr. Willoughby's tree. And they just kept getting smaller and smaller for all the different animals.
Wait, was it for a human at first?
Yeah, Mr. Willoughby.
Oh.
Yes, so that I think is super duper fun. All right, so let's get out our sentence. And we are going to work on our second rewrite.
Yay.
So, this one, friends, you can change however you want.
Oh my goodness. So is it maybe-
You do, however, need to keep it similar to the original sentence. Let's see, let's get it out. need to get my sentence. Hold on a second. All right, so let me get. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without sound. So you do not have to keep anything the same. I want it to be a sentence, a multiple sentence. I want you to keep, we aren't going to add anything major. This is the example they gave. Then the driver revved the engine and slammed on the gas pedal like a fire was chasing him. Nothing like the original. So you may write your new awesome sentence. No. Oh. Maybe. Then they don't have to, then they can listen to you. So I'm going to turn off the video right now, and then I'm going to turn it back on so you can hear your friends' sentences, okay? Then you have an option of listening. Otherwise, it's just empty space that nobody's doing anything. So I will come back.